Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today I'm going to be finishing the second movie of What If Harry Became Spider-Man. If you haven't already seen the first 4 parts, they'll be linked in the description and comment section. And if you watch this video and enjoy it, please consider subscribing to help me reach 6,000 subscribers before the end of the year. As always, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. So continuing where we left off, the first scene we would get in this part is the scene of Peter and MJ's date, only this time it wasn't actually a date. Harry would walk through the store's doors and would hug Peter, asking how they've been. This would of course come as a shock to Peter since at the beginning of the movie he denied a hug from him. However, him and MJ would then tell him how they are and ask Harry the same thing. Both he and MJ would tell him how they are and ask Harry the same thing. He would say that he's never been better, and Peter would then choose to ask how things at Oscorp are. However, Harry would think for a sec before saying that he doesn't know. Peter would smile, remarking that he always tells him the details, to which Harry would smile back and say that he guesses it just slipped his mind. MJ would be happy to see that Harry isn't all caught up in his work, and that they can all be good friends once again. However, that's when the glass would shatter, and the three would look outside to see Doc Ock. He would grab Peter with one of the arms and ask him where Spider-Man is. Peter would say that he didn't know, but Otto would show a newspaper from the Daily Bugle with a picture of Spider-Man. Peter would then be scared, saying that he didn't know, he had barely taken any pictures of Spider-Man, and Harry would say that it was true. Ock would then realize what he had to do. He would pick up MJ with another of the arms, to which Peter would start trying to attack, but of course would fail. Peter would yell that he talked to Spider-Man once outside of MJ's play, and that he found his suit in the trash, but that was all he knew. And Harry would tell Otto that he doesn't have to do this was literally all they had on Spider-Man. He then left, leaving Harry alone. He tried chasing after, but one of the arms just smacked him aside. And this led to Harry bursting out of the rubble and regaining his spider powers. He would then steal the suit back from J. Jonah Jameson and would use it, swinging through the city once again. This led to the fight on the train with Doc Ock, only now it was a bit easier for Spider-Man to keep up. With his glider, he could do a lot more to contend with Otto without having to worry so much about falling off the train. Eventually, Ock would leave, but Harry would pull out a tracking device from the glider. He throws it at Ock, making the glider follow. Harry is then forced to break his limits to stop the train with all of his power. This leads to all the people on the train saving him and realizing just who he is. Now this scene wouldn't be the same as in the original because Peter was just some average guy that none of them recognized. But Harry Osborn is a big name, they all know him. But while we wouldn't get the "he's just a kid" line, I think we would get something more akin to how maybe one of them thought Oscorp was a sellout. Perhaps they thought that Harry specifically wasn't cut out running Oscorp with the legacy his father left. Big business is bad and all that stuff. But if he's really out here saving lives, protecting people, fighting while still running Oscorp, he has to be commended for that. Harry would wake up and immediately freak out, grabbing for his mask. He would look at all the people as the little boy hands it to him. They would say that they wouldn't tell anyone, and so he would put it back on. Ock would then return with Spider-Man's glider in hand, throwing it onto the ground. He would smile and then seize the hero, locking him up in Harry's home. However, he would grow very bored of waiting. Harry would never arrive, and so because of this, Otto would find Bernard, forcibly asking where he was. Bernard would of course say that he didn't know, and this would make Ock even more furious. Eventually, Harry would wake up, and being inside the suit would break out of the binds. He would yell at Ock to leave Bernard out of this, but this would only make the villain more angered. Doc Ock would scream out, asking where Osborn was while threatening Bernard, and that's when Harry would yell that he was right here. Otto would be confused, and Spider-Man would take off his mask, revealing Harry Osborn. Ock would be shocked, but would smile, saying that he should have known. He decided not to get into a monologue and keep it brief, threatening Bernard once more, telling Harry to give him the tritium. Harry would do so, leaving Ock to drop Bernard onto the ground, and he would take it out of his hand and throw Harry to the wall. He then grabs things from all around the room using the arms, throwing them all at Harry, and as he leaves, he tells him not to follow. Now that he was gone, Bernard would help Harry out of the rubble, because he would be weakened from everything that happened previously, and getting off guarded didn't help. Harry would sit there, saying that now Bernard knows. He knows why he had to cut meetings short, why he neglected him, everything. Bernard would tell him that none of that matters now, and that Harry or not, The city needs Spider-Man. He would then hand him his mask, and Harry would smile. He would take it, putting it on once again, and standing up. Spider-Man would jump out of the side of the building, and we would cut to him sneaking into Otto's new lab. He quietly began freeing Peter, but this didn't go very well as Otto knew he was there. Spider-Man would yell, telling him that he got what he wanted, so now he needs to let them go. However, Ock would respond that if he did, he wouldn't have any leverage. Harry would be trying his best to free Peter, but Doc Ock would be cutting him off at every turn. Eventually though, Harry was finally able to catch Ock off guard and hit him, before then freeing Peter. Peter would try to save MJ while the hero and villain continue to fight. Otto once again beats Harry, although it is somewhat close. He grabs him by the throat and reveals his identity to Peter and MJ. The two would be shocked by this, but would have no time to think. Harry would be struggling to break out of Otto's grip, realizing that it just wasn't possible. However, that's when MJ and Peter both came swinging in with random stuff that they found and catch Otto off guard, letting Harry go. Ock would see Peter fighting against him, and the arms would grab him, almost killing him. But that's when Otto thinks back. This is Peter Parker. Peter would then tell Otto the things that both he and his aunt told him like he did in canon, and this would make Otto remember who he is, finally taking control of the arms and sacrificing himself to stop his own creation. Harry would escape with his two friends, and they would all sit on a web together. Peter says that everything all made sense now, why he was so late, why he missed things. Harry would stop him. It's not just that, Peter. I know I'm the one responsible for Ben, and I can just barely bring myself to... Peter would cut him off, hugging him, saying that it's okay. MJ would then also join in the hug just as Peter begins to speak. He thanks Harry, and the hero would ask for what. He would then respond, for being my best friend. After this, it would cut to Harry letting the two down and would swing into the distance. He would be alone at his home and would begin to take a seat, but Bernard would walk into the room. He tells Harry that he's gonna want to see this, and Harry slowly follows him into the secret room with all of his father's work. And that is where Spider-Man 2 ends, as well as this video. Next time we'll be moving into the third film, but for now, if you made it this far, like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this version of the movies, and what you want to see next time. I know a lot of people are putting in their suggestions for what they think should happen, and believe me, I've been reading every single comment. I will do my best to make Spider-Man 3 as well, so I hope you all look forward to that, and once again, like and subscribe to see it come. But as always, tell me if you liked this part, tell me what you think will happen next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.